I want us to turn our attention to our journal reading for today. There is a war within us against the presence of God. There is a war, a conflict, a battle in us that wants to prevent us from being exposed or experiencing the presence of God. You remember in just the last broadcast, I shared with us that we have a tendency, especially as a nation, to live and to exist as if God is not present. We don't recognize that He is among us or with us right now. And I believe it's not accidental, it's intentional. That there is a war, there is a declared enemy that wants to prevent us from experiencing or recognizing or acknowledging the presence of God. And the challenge with that war, it's not a war that's being fought somewhere in the Middle East or somewhere in the Southeast or somewhere on a physical battleground. That war, that conflict, that encounter that's coming against us, it's here. It's in us. It's in our mind, in our thinking, in our very spiritual being. That's what we're going to deal with today. We're turning our attention to the book of Romans. That's Romans chapter 7. That's where you need to go right now. Romans chapter 7, find verse 18. For I know that in me, that is in my flesh. So that's where we are putting our attention. In me, in my flesh, dwelleth no good thing. For to will, I want you to pay attention to this part. Underline this in your Bible. For to will is present with me. But how to perform that which is good, I find not. So I want to deal first of all with what is present, what's in us. All right. We're dealing with God with us, God being with us, His presence being with us or among us. But now I want to kind of look at it from a different point of view, first of all, and look at what's in us. What's going on in us? God is present. But what's going on inside of us while God is present? So now here's what Paul says in this particular verse. Inside of me, Paul says, or inside of us, I find the will to do good. I don't find anything good in me. He noted that is in his flesh. But he does find in verse 18, as it says, he does find the will is present, the will to do good, to do that which would be good, to do that which is right, to do that which would be pleasing to God. He finds that in us there is the will, but how to perform what we would do, he doesn't find that in us. It's not there. I cannot find that. So, point number one. God is present. He's made Himself available to us, given us complete 100% access to Himself. But what's going on inside of me? What's going on inside of you? There's this struggle. On the inside of us, there is the will to do good. But how to actually perform it? It's a little gray. I'm not sure about that. I'm not real sure about how to do what would be good. What would be good? To be able to recognize the presence of God, to live my life in His presence, to allow God's presence to have influence on how I live, the decisions I make, the positions I take, how I walk in this life.